I'd like to share with you on a topic I have titled Selfishness, a great handicap to greatness. Selfishness, a great handicap to greatness. This sharing is inspired by an extract from a quote from Pastor Tunde Bakare at Wema Bank's Nigeria's 70th comparative lecture series in 2015. Yes, that long ago, but eternally relevant and poignant. Plus an adaptation of a teaching by my mentor John C. Maxwell, also a few years ago. And I quote, "My mother taught me a great lesson when I was young. She said riches and poverty live on the same street, separated just by one street. The choices one makes in the world determine on which side of the street one ends up living in." From that little lesson, I decided from my youth to strive to make the right choices. Choices that will not only enable me prosper, but choices that would also enable as many people as possible around me to also prosper, leveraging on the choices I made. Selfishness has been one of the greatest handicaps in Nigerian strive for success. End of quotes, Pastor Tunde Bakare. One of the best examples I know to teach on selfishness is the Good Samaritan story. I am of the Christian faith, but the Good Samaritan story, I believe, is of global application. If you're not familiar with that story, read the book of Luke chapter 10 from verses 25 to 27. Selfishness, a great handicap to greatness, is a topic again. What I believe about life determines how I perceive life, which determines how I live life. The story of the Good Samaritan goes thus. A lawyer stood up to put Jesus to the test, saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What is written in the law?" So a question, how do you read it? The lawyer answered back, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But the lawyer, desiring to justify himself, asked again, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied with the story of the Good Samaritan, the outcome of a man who was attacked, robbed, and left for dead as he was traveling. Again, go and read the book of Luke chapter 10, verses 25 to 37, if you're not familiar with the story. But there are 4 perspectives from that story that I like to share to teach on selfishness in this short clip. The first perspective is that of the robber. The robber's perspective was, what is yours is mine, and I'm going to take it. Sadly, all of us have a little bit of robbers in us. We are born selfish. Our first perspective when born is to take what we like. To take what we like. If I say it's mine, then it's mine. That's our philosophy then. If I like it, it's mine. If it's broken, it is yours. We are all born with a robber's mindset. This shows up with the entitlement mentality in the world we live in today. Crazy entitlement mentality, if you ask me. The second perspective from that story is that of, what is mine, and I'm going to keep it. This was the perspective of the priests and the Levites. Jesus notes that these ones saw the robber, but they crossed to the other side. They saw the robber beaten and probably acknowledged that what happened to him was bad, but it wasn't their problem. This group do not recognize that all they have is by God's grace, and it could easily take all away as well. The highest kind of selfishness that we as humans can have is to exclude God from what we have. Selfish people always cheat themselves, quoted John Maxwell. What they try to hold on to denies them the abundance that is prepared for them out of their selfishness. The world of the generous actually gets larger and larger. The world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. Proverbs 11:24. The third perspective from that story is that of, what is mine is yours, and I'm going to give it. This is the perspective of the Samaritan. He recognized immediately that what is his is to be shared, given to the person in need, the robber in this instance. Notice that all three saw the problem. They all had the opportunity to help. They all had a reason not to help. The first two, because of convenience, refused to stop. They were concerned with what happens to them if they stop. And in our climb, they may even be blamed or arrested for stopping. But the Samaritan was concerned with what happens to the injured person. That's a different perspective. He also thought of what would happen to him if he didn't stop, and realized that even his own hurt will slowly become hardened if he just ignored the robbed traveler who was in need of help in that instant, the help that he could render. A person truly starts to live when he or she can live outside of himself or herself and recognize the need of others, especially when you're in a position to help. That's when true living starts. But there is even a higher perspective, a higher one, and that is the fourth perspective. The fourth perspective from that story is that what is mine is not mine, and I'm going to manage it. What is mine is not mine, and I'm going to manage it. All that you have is not yours. It's given to you in trust to hold until God needs it. Everything we have is not ours. That is a true perspective. That is why you have to manage it well until God needs it. Remember the parable of the talents. When we die, we can't take it with us. If you won't give it all away when you have nothing, you won't give it away when you have a lot. Quoting John C. Maxwell again, people who don't have this revelation don't have a money problem. They have a mind problem. How we perceive things is everything. How we view things determine how we do things. What we see is who we become. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at also change. What I believe about life determines how I perceive life, which determines how I live life. I, Olusoji Oyawe, for example, I believe that I'm God's delivery boy. I believe that God gives us gifts. They are not ours. We don't deserve them. We didn't earn them. God simply gives the gifts so we can be His delivery boy or girl. The equipping that I have been blessed with and the creativity that enables me to keep sharing, teaching, and coaching, for example, are not mine. I'm just delivering the gifts as God gives them to me. That is why what I need on my platforms are friends, not fans. I see you as my friend, not fans, not followers. Even our time is not our time. It's all a gift from God. And I know that I have less time left now anyway, by my age. And I've been blessed with such good life. I urge you to be selfless and not selfish going forward. That is, if you truly desire to live a life of impact and become great. My name is Olusoji Oyawe, and I seek to enhance the capacity of anyone that I come across. Please let me know in the comment section which part of this clip resonates with you. Or simply share your perspective. Yes, anything to enrich the discussion. And if you require my services, you can reach me through my email that you see scrolling on the screen. info@sojioyawe.com. 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 Or by WhatsApp, chat only, no calls, to +234 704 366 7607. +234 704 366 7607. I hope this has been enriching to you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful week ahead, and be selfless with that fourth perspective that I've just shared. Thank you, and bye-bye.